The cloud. Okay, so good afternoon to everybody that is here. Our Zoom meeting today is for we the people, by the people, for all the people. And our mission with our group here is to influence, impact, and touch our legislative body for the 2024 legislative session by sharing our personal stories. Our mission is to have 10 families in each county go meet with your local legislator, build that connection, and so that in the 2024 session, we will be made a priority. This week, I'm without Tom Nurse, who is usually my lead wingman. He is in Clearwater doing some incredible weekend-long jazz festival he's done for 39 years. And well, I'm excited to just sit and talk family to family. So there have been a lot of updates with actions with our group and surrounding our group. I know one of the things that was pretty incredible to hear was the Florida Voices of Health did a webinar with Allison and JJ and another family that has been served on the waiver to kind of pinpoint the differences in just dialogue. And that was so wonderful for them to get that information out there. That was really exciting. We had delegation meetings. Alan was on earlier and updated, said that ARCA Florida has been at the ones in the Panhandle. Have any of you all heard of any of our folks at the delegation meetings this week? Any of the ones going on?
This is Melissa.
Hey,
No.
there you are. Not yet.
Hey. No, I haven't heard of anybody that has been at any this week in particular. We have the Sarasota one that's coming up next week, and Hulda and Hebby, I know that they're planning on being there. Stephanie, are you coming up from?
And I'm bringing a friend. We'll be
Oh,
coming a
good.
little bit late because I got to
Okay.
get the kids on the bus.
So I
Let's
did get
park
I
just
I
1 minute because I want to spend 10 minutes on the Sarasota delegation meeting. Uh,
okay.
but Tom
Because
is
I
in
did get the
for.
agenda today from them. So I
Let's,
know where we're kind of at in it.
let's talk about that after because I
Yep.
know Tom can only come for a minute.
Yep.
Tom, come in, say hello, and then dip out. Do your thing. Nope, cannot hear you. Try again.
How about now?
Yep. Hello, sir.
So we're up and running. And hi, everybody. Just wanted to say hi. I'm doing my alternative lifestyle here I'm a stage manager at a jazz festival called the Quoter Jazz Holiday. This is my 39th year doing this. And during the whole world of disabilities, this has been kind of a toe into my past and something that has kept me kind of engaged in other areas besides just being totally consumed in disability world. And I'd just like to say hi and also just to thank those that have taken the time to reach out, to get engaged, to be informed. And it's this is a process for everybody, and not everybody's in the same place as far as where they are and their levels of comfort with advocacy. And so what we really need to do is just be able to grow. And you're surrounded by a loving group of people that are all caregivers and compassionate and caring. And so there is no bad question. There is no thing. We will help you grow because what is really proving to be amazing is the power of family, the power of the truth, the power of creating a connection that is real between legislators and us so that is not just a line item on a budget, but it's Logan, it's Gavin, it's Shelby, it's people. In that the fact that we're beginning to get legislators and their aides calling back, asking for input, asking for insight. I'm thinking about doing this. What do you think? That is huge. And I'm telling you, organizations pay thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to try to get people professionally to do that. And sometimes we can be an incredibly powerful force because these stories are real and they're honest And, I can't thank Stephanie enough for her continued passionate drive on this whole thing. It's really been meaningful to her and to us to open this thing up. It's not ours, it's everybody's. And that continuing to take the time to create the story, to create the connections, to show up with your delegation, to network with folks in the ways that you can, it does make a difference. Will we change the world this year? Probably not. Will we make a difference? Absolutely, we already have. We're getting people that can make a difference. We're getting their attention. Stephanie will talk about some of the legislative feedback and input that she's gotten. But I'm going to step back to my other toe in the reality of producing music and entertainment and enjoyment. And again, thank you for your focus, for your energy, your insights, and for being truth tellers and storytellers and being part of a solution. If we just complain, that's what we'll be seen as. If you tell hard stories and offer options and offer stories of solution, then we're on the positive side. And that's where we need to go. So I wish you all a wonderful Friday, and I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. And I will be more freed up next week rather. So until that time, have a great day. Thanks, Steph.
Thanks, Tom. I love that Tom is at the phase of life where he's been where we are. He worked his tail off to get his now adult child integrated in the community, and he gets to go to a jazz festival. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you so much. And he is right. The idea is for us to get the message across as we are here as resources. We have solutions. We do have challenges that we need our decision makers' help on. And how we deliver that message will establish us as a resource or a problem. So one of the things that it was really difficult for me to do last year in the middle of feeling frustrated by the agency was to look outside of that agency and think a little broader, who can help this agency so that my family can get served. What my family walked through, what some of our families in our group have walked through is incredibly difficult and challenging. And I didn't want other families to have to suffer what I suffered. So unless I give the solutions that I had, that I could think of, that would resonate with the people listening to me, the problem would just circle on and circle on. And so last year I came to our delegation meeting. That's where I started, and said, we haven't gotten services. My family's been in crisis for a really long time. I don't know what to do anymore. These are the things that I've tried, and I don't want to see other families walk through this. And I've spent the last year taking that same exact position and continuing to talk to my legislators, to the point where I have made some suggestions that went into a committee. I have no idea the results, but I heard from our local representative that has been helping me with this. She met with the Senate healthcare policy staff, and in 2 hours time the other day, Liz was over at the house. I got so much correspondence asking for more information, which what that means is right now, even though we're not in session, this is the time that our lawmakers are getting together to decide what is most important to talk about, how bills that need to go forward. So they know exactly who we are. I heard from somebody else who had a similar kind of situation happen. And Alan got on here and said that this week in committee meetings, there was a meeting about technology related to like kind of the provider side with the iConnect system. And there isn't any health and human service committees the next week, but in 3 weeks, I don't know how to say that, but in 3 weeks, there's some more committee meetings that will have a focus on our people. I did hear that the delegations this week, I don't have any reports on. However, what I would like to do is talk about the ones upcoming in the next weeks and see if we can get more families engaged. And if they're not able to be there, to get those stories into us, and start the very beginning phase planning questions, working it out together as a group on how we're going to come to DD Day. Because even though that is in February, so are the holidays are coming up, and all the life is happening, and we live in same lives with our bunch. So want to start the beginning planning and go round robin if anybody has anything they want to add. I think that what we're doing is actually working. So let's build the momentum and cross the finish line, ask for the world, and I think we're gonna get it. So who wants to share? Melissa was about to go in it. I cut her off because of Tom. So why don't you start, Melissa? Raise your hand if you have something to contribute. And I can't fill an hour. So I would love to hear everybody kind of throw your part into anything that you would like to speak about today.
All right.
Melissa.
Hi, everybody. I was just gonna say with the Sarasota delegation, I had emailed Representative Buchanan's assistant, who's the one that's kind of pulling it all together, and I did receive the agenda today. I asked if we could be toward the beginning, but unfortunately we're not. So and the agenda that she had sent to me actually has, we are basically the first speakers of the individual type speakers. They list and I was trying to locate the what they, like initially with all of the delegation meetings, they usually have like the mayor goes, and the county commissioners and all of that stuff. But then they have like they in Sarasota, they've got like I'm sorry, I'm trying to find where she sent it to me today, but I recall seeing, here it is. They have let's see, Sarasota County goes, then local bills go, the municipalities go, then agency heads, then education goes. After those guys all present, then at that point they have the public speaker, the ones who have registered like us, but they have it all where it's the businesses that go first. And after I dug out my delegation stuff from last year in Sarasota, and that was exactly how they had it. So the Chamber of Commerce goes first, and there's multiple Chamber of Commerces in Sarasota County because we have Venice and Northport and Sarasota. So they've got those guys. They got Moat Marine, Visit Sarasota. So they've got all, here's Goodwill and whatnot.
I believe that is the flow of all the delegation
It
meetings.
is.
Yeah.
It is. So we are down at, we're literally right after, those businesses, Alzheimer's Association, Florida Cares and stuff. But we are not until number 43. And that definitely is more toward, the end of the speakers. And then, of course, then they go into the public, testimony and whatnot. But or for the people that show up just and they fill out a speaker card that day. So I really do not feel it is necessary I didn't even feel it was necessary for us to show up there at 9 a.m. anyway. But we definitely do not need to show up there at I don't think before 10 is necessary. I mean, people can be out in the parking lot, we can get together, and then we can all kind of make our way, into the chambers and stuff. But I think that if we show up super early, I mean, people can, if they want, they're going to sit there. I don't want to sit there for all of this. I've been already doing that at these other delegation meetings, kind of. But I think that showing up around 10 o'clock is probably sufficient at that point, considering the amount of, just Sarasota County and the local bills and the municipalities and education. Just that alone probably won't end until, I would think, around 10 or 10:15. But I'm thinking that, there's definitely no need to roll in there at 9 a.m. unless you want to sit and listen to all this good stuff. But that's kind of what I wanted to put out there. And then Hulda last night started to send out some of the family stories. And Hulda, it looked like you sent out about 4 different emails. I saw like I think it was about 4 different family stories. Are you going to do more than just the one email a day? And I don't know if she can unmute herself.
Oh,
She looks
she can't. She can type. She says her mic's not working.
oh,
Um, so she's here. Hebby talked and said that Hulda, when she got 12 people to come to Sarasota.
That's Ulda. Pauline is also in this meeting, and she was going to reach also the Heaven families. I had the opportunity to speak to Becky yesterday. She was going to follow up on Don Henderson, which is a resource in the Heaven that he likes to do that, and he's good at moving families. So I will dare to say that if we say that we are going to be 20 in that meeting, it would be fair to say that, yes, we are going to hit the 20s.
So if we are in the 20s and this happens before our next meeting, I think would be really great if our Sarasota, whoever our lead captain is, Melissa, could kind of get these 20 families to go have a meeting, get on a phone call, email thread, however everybody engages, and talk about the game plan. That way we're, sending the right message, and that this is a force multiplier, and the Sarasota meeting would be the biggest delegation meeting show up that we would have. So what an opportunity. And Captain, can you rally the troops?
well, Hulda, and I will absolutely help with whatever I need to help with, but Hulda has been the one that has reached out to the families and has had the contact with them. And I know that Hulda, you were going to be following up with folks, starting yesterday. And I know your mic isn't working, so if you're able to type it in the chat, if you did reach everybody, and if you have not, I think that, we need to probably shoot more for getting there at 10.
Melissa, sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
That's precisely what I was trying to communicate before. Julia and I spoke before, just before this meeting. She followed up the original 20, and 12 confirmed that they were going to show up. And the other 8, she left a voice message. So she is pending to receive response from those other 8. But in addition to those, let's remember Becky and then Henderson from the Heaven are trying to reach out to more families.
Okay.
So wait, hold on, I had an idea based on that. So you know how in our Facebook group we have the event for the delegation meeting for Sarasota? There's a chat included in that. I know that everybody has talked, we're going to go, but to kind of chat together, and maybe that's a way to do it where you don't have to have another Zoom meeting, and if everyone's busy, or maybe Hulda can decide if she's going to be captain on this. I just want to make sure that there's one more conversation before you meet so that everybody's on the same page. Do you think that makes sense?
Yeah, no, I think that it would be good for, us to kind of get on the same page. But I guess, Hulda, if you have the people that you've spoken with about that, and then, we can try to, just communicate through that Facebook group. But I don't know if everybody is definitely
Well, I think it's public. So even if they're not, they can engage, I believe. But I'm going to put it in the chat here, and you all let me know.
Okay. One thing, Hulda, that I wanted to ask with the stories that you are sending out, because I just looked back and it looked like it was a total of 8 stories. I don't know. I mean, this is up to, everybody, but it was 4 different emails last night that you had sent out. And are you looking at doing like that each day, like sending out, 4 emails with 2 stories each? Because that's 8 stories in a day. And I think that we only have right now about 100. So I don't want us to like run out, because it would be nice to have every day those legislators getting 2 of those personalized people, 2 of those personalized stories, making it a little bit more real. And I don't know if sending 4 separate, emails with 2 stories each every single day, that we even have enough to be able to do that. And also if it will, if it'll just start getting lost in the mix of the massive amounts of emails that they receive.
So those 4 emails are going out to legislators?
Yes. Yep.
I am trying to understand what Melissa is saying, because I was wondering if those 4 emails were the ones with the stories for the legislators.
So last night, Hulda had sent to, it might have been more. I don't know how to share my screen with you guys to show, but it's 2 stories. One's Logan and Lalage, and she puts Logan and Lalage's story, and then the next one was actually like Logan again and Gavin, and then the next one was Jennifer and Olivia, and maybe that was it.
And is that going to the list of all of the legislators?
Oh, and then Michael and Angie. Yes, that's what it looks like. Like she copied and pasted from the Word document that I think Hebby you had sent, that had all of the people, the legislators listed on there. I know it wasn't a comprehensive list. That was only the one, it was not everybody.
90. That list has 90, and supposedly Florida has 118. So it's only like 28 that are missing there.
Okay, so Hulda has taken the ship to do stories, and I don't know if she answered that. Is
I
that
think that when I spoke to her yesterday, she was looking at helping Liz with doing it. I didn't think that they were going out like starting yesterday, but
Neither did I.
some of them out. So I want us to be on the same page with that. And I would really like to see the list of legislators that are getting these, that it is everybody. It is everybody. It is not just, I think it was more than 28 people. But Stephanie, I just forwarded the email, one of the emails to you that Hulda had sent out. But I would like to see that it be, a lot of people, and I really would like for it to be on a daily basis. And I don't want to run out.
we were starting when session was starting was the plan.
Oh. No,
that's what we decided when session kicked off. We'd send 1 story a day.
No, that's
right now. Okay, all right.
We decided to start earlier based on what Melissa is saying. Then instead of 2 stories per day, 1 per day. And right there we have 3 months. We are on October, so that will cover up to January, plus the additional stories that we get from here to January.
Well, 1 email a day with 2 of the stories in it. That was what I was thinking, because I feel like we're getting these stories in, more and more are coming in. So I think like that we probably will have enough. I mean, and like Stephanie said earlier, the goal is to get to like 1,000. That would be great. But right now though, I think like probably 1 email a day with 2 of the stories, but to everybody. And that's kind of where I think, I know Stephanie, you and I kind of texted a little bit about being able to help Liz find where those, all the email addresses were for those.
Yeah, so Liz came over to my house this week. She's getting set up to run it through Constant Contact, the program I do to send out mass emails. When she can schedule those stories 1 by 1 ahead of time. And I'm perfectly fine with anybody doing that. I just want to make sure that when we're doing it, we're all on the same page so it doesn't get duplicated because we want this to be effective. And I'm nervous that if multiple people are sending, those stories, it'll lose its effect. Does that make sense?
Hulda just wrote that she won't be sending any more email. I have never sent nor plan to send any email, so it goes back to Liz then.
Okay, so why don't you all, since we're all on this together, get together off of this and decide how to execute that? And Hulda, thank you so much. Liz is literally just new. Liz, you want to say hi?
Hi, everybody. Nice to meet you guys. I'm just getting the ball started, especially given that I thought that we had until session. So this week we kind of got on being able to have access to all the stories, having all the content that I require, and then getting a consistent format so I know how many are going out and they're going out exactly the same every day, and that there is some consistency to what that looks like. So we have sat down and I have access to everything that I need as far as the stories are concerned. And then the couple of lines that are going to go in to detail it, I'll finalize that. And then I want to run it past you guys so that we are all on the same page and make sure everybody's okay with the verbiage that's being used. And then I'll CC you girls in as it's going out through constant contact.
Great.
Super. And then the other thing I'd love to announce is the ARC of Florida is asked also for the stories. They'd like to put it to a YouTube video with a mix, like a mix of music and some of the words that we've all used when we're at these delegation meetings. I think that would be another way to propel the message. And then
hi, Logan, come here.
We do have go ahead and mute yourself, Liz. We do have one of our newer members that has a background in web development. So she wants to do a separate, kind of like a single landing page that people can go to have access to our stories. And like we all have just said, there's a lot more of us that have turned things in, and there's nothing more important than our mission than to make that personal connection with our legislators. The delegation meetings are kind of here through November, and then it is really showtime in the Capitol. The time to engage with them where they're at, this is the window. May not get an appointment right away if that's still open, but time to start talking, because once they're in Tallahassee full time, they're busy.
I don't know. Sorry to interrupt you. I don't know how
okay.
come I was forgetting about sharing this. Yesterday, I got this piece of information. They are going to go to Tallahassee. This year is going to be different. They are going to go to Tallahassee, then come back, and then go back to Tallahassee on January. So there will be a time that
right. The House goes up for a little bit. The Senate goes up for a little bit. They come back, and then when session starts, they're there. So the point is what we'll lose them in January. The time to do it is now. Lose them in the holidays because everybody's, with their families. Hey, Amanda, you're being so polite and sweet. Did you want to say something? Your hand is up.
I did. It's completely separate from what you guys are talking about, but I wanted to mention, and I'm not turning my video on because I'm fighting the crud and my face reflects that. So, anyway, last night at the company I work with, we had the Chamber of Commerce business after hours, and Representative Payne showed up, and I actually got several minutes to talk with him about update him on the goings on with what's going on with Jaden and everything. And I had mentioned there's a group home in Palm Coast that I have reached out to that has beds available. And I said, he was like, oh, that's great. I said, yeah, but they only take med waiver. They don't take anything else. I said, so thus the urgency of trying to do this. Anyway, he said that he wants to get me in touch with Representative Garrison. I guess he's in Clay County.
And he's chair,
Huh?
Chair of Health and Human Service.
Exactly.
Yeah, great.
Yes. So so that's my good news for the week. So yeah, it's I feel like movement is definitely happening. And he did say again how at all the delegation meetings that he went to, it was mentioned how APD was severely underfunded, and that's what everyone is asking for, and that it is definitely on the list. And I actually talked to his district aide at length, and she said she has even seen it on his notes. So like I feel like he's serious, and I'm praying that the rest of them who are saying, "Oh yeah, we'll look into that," they're serious too.
It's a pretty good update, Amanda.
Thanks. I'm excited.
I'm sorry you have to crud, but I know that you're doing your little wiggle dance off camera.
I am.
Yeah. And you should. And that's exactly like mission executed there, right? You came there, you said, trying to do what I can. I don't feel like I know what to do, legislator, will you help me? And now they're going to look at you as a resource moving forward and kind of help steer you in the right direction. That your story reminded me, there's another mom here in Collier who her son was denied onto the waiver because of improper documentation submissions. He's got autism, and the diagnostic letter that she sent was not the diagnostic letter that they accepted. So they had a hearing coming up, and she was really upset that she had to go through all this just to get her son on the wait list or the pre-enrollment list. So yesterday I got a text that said, I have great news. We received word last night and it's official. The APD canceled the hearing. We accomplished what I originally tried to do back in May. He's on the wait list or considered eligible for when my husband and I are no longer here. Thank you for everyone that helped support in this difficult battle. She went to her legislators and spoke her truth, and that helped. It helped her personally, but it also, that is a very consistent theme in our messaging. When our personal stories have connections to one another, our legislators see that. And I do think that that initial application struggle that we have knowing which documents to send in, I hope that that is one of the things we're going to clear up this year. So that this is it. This is family after family just speaking your truth. And before session has started, before committee meetings have really gotten into the meat of it, we're already having responses. Miss Margaret Hooper, would you mind sharing a little bit about who you are and how we can help you? You could help we the people, or any information you got.
Well, Stephanie, we were talking about how the council can help get stories and link stories on Facebook, and maybe even promote some that we'd want to approach to do videos of, to maybe a video of them. We've had good luck with that with our council members. But I'm kind of looking here and I'm seeing some questions about bills and statute numbers. The classic statute for developmental disability is 393. And it's got a lot of little parts to it, but all of 393 has to do with developmental disabilities. But it got me thinking that there's no one bill. There's a lot of bills. There's budget proposals every year. There's proviso language inside a big budget bill that tells people how to spend money a certain way for people. So there's a lot of little parts to this. So hopefully I can help you all understand the parts. And I was talking to Stephanie before we got started, to have in the back of your mind, how do you want people to help you? So you tell your story, and that's good, because just introducing yourself and telling your story is where you start. And all of us should start that, regardless of if we have what our abilities are or our children's abilities are. I think it's a good place to start, to know your representative and legislators. So you've done that, but then they're going to ask inevitably, how can we help you? And I think the more you can know about how someone can help you, what programs are available, are you asking the right person? That the more you'll be able to pinpoint what could really be useful. Now, one thing we just pinpointed with that waitlist story, Amanda, I think it was Amanda who was just talking about, her victory in getting on the wait list had the same kind of emotional intensity that getting services should have. I mean, it should be much easier to get on the wait list, but you know, they're making it so that you're just even grateful to get on the wait list now. So one thing I would ask is this process shouldn't be so difficult, and especially when diagnosing people with autism. So that's kind of embedded in the rule process. With all these statutes have rules to them. But I know that Representative Plasencia is trying to do something to make it easier to get services for autism, or at least an easier way to prove you have a diagnosis for your child, instead of just one way that you get in third grade. Because some people come from different states, some people are homeschooling, some people in charter schools, and they didn't have this particular diagnostic test for autism. So those are things you could ask for. But the biggest thing I'm hearing now, other than the school system's a whole world in and of itself, how to get through the IEPs and things like that for your child. And then the other big transition is transitioning out of high school. And knowing if you should graduate or take those extra 4 years, depending on what the plans are after. And I'm seeing this with everybody, regardless of, I mean, I saw it with Representative Tant. She didn't start freaking out for her son until he turned 23. And we really see that because parents, and you can't totally blame parents for this, because they're just trying to survive day to day with several children, or children with disabilities, and several children and one has a disability. And let me just get through to the next IEP meeting. But what you need to start thinking around age 12 to 14 is what does it look like after school? And so that I'm not surprised when I get out of the school system. So, and a lot of people who were on Medicaid or the school system don't have any of those services, because even if you have a son or daughter on Medicaid, they lose Medicaid services when they become an adult. The state does not apply, doesn't do therapy services, doesn't do personal care attendant. They don't have personal supports. All of those are unique services that the waiver can provide an adult if they're eligible. And a lot of those are necessary to work, to take part in the community, to, even if you're living at home, people need those services. You don't want your son or daughter to sit on the couch and lose all the skills they learned when they were in high school. So the more you can specify the kind of things that you want and how they can help you, the better. And I can help you with that. Melissa, as a support coordinator, can help with some of those, because she has to find services for people, so she knows what's involved. And we could just help you articulate what you want to ask.
I like what you just said about the schools. I'm going to go ahead and post it in our group. Last night at our local ESE advisory meeting with our school district, that was the topic, was we have a lot of transition ages in the world of disabilities, and how can we prepare the students and the families to get to the next phase? It's not just APD. Not everybody in ESE needs med waiver, but some level of guardianship. And what does that mean? And there's a new bill that passed last session. They talked about making sure by the 17th birthday that they have information on guardianship. One of the dads in the said, you know, with how backed up things are, that conversation, we need to start hitting families before. And so our local ESE program is looking at different ways we can hit those transition ages, which is not just 18 to 21. You know, it's when you first get enrolled and your whole world's upside down. It's not the time to really talk about med waiver and guardianship, but introduce it and go a little bit more as you get into middle school and then bigger in high school. And I think that when we talk about the long-term sustainability of the waiver, having families educated before they have to walk into this will help everybody as a whole. Do you think, Ms. Hooper, that's something that could come with legislation to help the education process?
Well, that's truthfully what Representative Tant has been doing. She, in fact, almost every piece of legislation she has is to prevent that from happening to other parents. So, you know, we can, if you want to set aside one of these meetings for like, because some people don't know what's already been done. So you don't want to ask for something that you didn't know has already been done. And then so you can have a bill that passed, but is your specific school district, how are they doing it?
Mm-hmm.
Implementation, agencies can sit on things sometimes. By the time the school district gets it, they interpret it a different way because there's 67 little political school district entities, you know, and a lot of time the head school district, DOE, they're more about suggesting best practices rather than holding the regulations over people, because they recognize the independence of different school districts. So, but if you know something's in statute, then you can ask them to enforce it. So, or it could come up at your IEP meeting. So guardianship shouldn't be automatic. It should be a discussion about what kind of guardianship. And Allison actually has done a couple of bills to make it easier to, like last year, she did informed consent as an option. So you don't have to put your child in guardianship just to keep up with what they're doing the next 4 years of school.
That's what they talked about last night. That was her bill. Yes.
That's huge. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Can I ask a question to Margaret? Are you able to share your email with the persons on the Zoom so they can contact you and ask you some more questions about these legislative roles?
Oh, sure.
I appreciate that.
I don't know why I didn't think of that. Now, when I'm in session, I'm up at the Capitol lot. So I do the best I can to answer individual questions. And sometimes I get just crisis things that I have to send to APD, and I send it to Disability Rights Florida. And some of those I get involved in because I think it's going to lead to a change in legislation. But then other things I could just answer probably pretty quickly.
That would be amazing. So speaking of DD Day, we only have a few minutes. Does anyone, Fino's here. That's fabulous news. So Fino, we're looking to start the beginning planning phases of what it would look like for our group of families to gather together in Tallahassee. Developmental Disability Day is February 7th. It's like in the middle of the week. And
Wednesday.
It's a Wednesday, yeah, so smack in the middle of the week. I think what I'm thinking is maybe between Melissa and I, we could send out an email looking for interest if you can go, if you know you're going, if you're not going, if you're unsure. to kind of figure out how we can then like practically coordinate what we're going to be doing when we get there. I see the vision of our stories all over that rotunda. I would love for the families that are in those stories to be holding those stories. I think that would speak volumes. But we got a lot of brilliant heads in this group. So we got 5 minutes. Does anyone have anything about DD Day that you want to talk right now, this moment?
Stephanie, remember the day before is also the Autism Day.
Yes, it is. The day before, and the Autism Society of Florida is they're asking people, hey, come to Autism Day, it's the day before, if we're going to be there. And that is a developmental disability, but I think that the next day should be the We the People Day, because we're, while there's a lot of, I mean, we could do both. I don't know. I was just trying to pick one day where we could all gather and really like get that going,
One thing I want to say is hotel rooms. It's hard to get a hotel room in Tallahassee. So I would get a couple rooms now. You can always cancel them.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a recommendation? Last year I stayed somewhere weird because I just picked it on the internet. There's this, Melissa, where's the one you stayed at? That was the right one. That was the one I want to go to this
I was just laughing about like you staying someplace.
like that's not the spot I want to be at.
Yeah, I usually stay at
She stays at the Four Seasons all the time.
The Holiday Inn at Appalachia. What was that, Fino?
Don't you stay at the Four Seasons?
Oh yeah, the Four Seasons, exactly. Yeah, I was never bunk up there. No, I usually am at the Holiday Inn on Apalachicola Parkway. Is it Apalachicola?
Yeah, I think that's it. We stayed there a few times already.
Yep. Yeah, that's usually
and it's right down the street. I mean, literally 10 minutes away.
That's why I liked it, is because mine was like weirdly not walkable. And it's easy to get lost down there if you've never been, so I like the walkable. So Holiday in Appalachia, right?
Appalachia Parkway, 2003. It's not walkable to the Capitol though, Stephanie. This is down the block, like.
Oh no, there was one where you could just like hop and skip and walk right there and get lost.
Well, there's the DoubleTree. We have some rooms there for our council members and partners, and that's very walkable. There's the Aloft is within walking distance.
Nikki, is that where you stay?
Those are pretty pricey.
Oh, they are. So the other thing, last year I went with the care council. Maybe this is something we could talk to our local care councils. I'm not sure how that would work. We need to start thinking about that, like getting the rooms.
One group rented a bus. It's near a city near Tampa, Largo, out of the Largo Family Care Council area. They rented a charter bus that came up. And I'm not sure where they stayed, but
okay, well, let's continue this. That's a very important part, is where are we going to sleep? How are we going to get there? How many of us are able to come? What are the barriers? If we can't come, how can we accommodate? Keep having that conversation and start looking into group rates on hotels is the only thing I can think of is important to do right now.
This is Melissa. I wanted to just clarify and just say a couple things. One, the Sarasota delegation, Heavy, I see your thing there about that. Hulda has the names. And I know that you probably are expecting more people to respond over the weekend. After we know who's definitely coming, then we can touch base with them and try to set something up this week, just to, so we're all coming together as a group. And Stephanie, I'll include you in that. I know you're coming up for that. And then as far as like the stories are concerned, because I know Hulda, you said that you're not going to send out anymore. Thanks for doing it. I didn't realize that you were going to start doing it yesterday, but at this point you're not doing that. And then Liz, you're going to finish up with getting the addresses, and then start to send those out?
Yeah, well, that's what I wanted to confirm because I thought they weren't going out until session, so there was some miscommunication there. So now that I know that we can go ahead and start getting those out, we can go ahead and start scheduling those for the beginning of this week, you guys think?
Yeah,
Everybody's on board then I'll take care of that over the weekend and I'll set it up to start going out at the beginning of the week.
And we're looking at, Liz, at them not being as attachments, but like when the email opens that you can actually see it right there.
We figured that out. That's what came over. How can we make it actually in the email? So good.
Okay, great. Good. Yeah, that would be wonderful. I think it's be awesome for them to start getting those. So, okay. Well,
Yes,
I agree.
Fino, we got 1 minute. Can you do it in a minute, dude?
I just want to let you guys know, you guys set up the buses, whatever you guys got to do, and then tell me who the contact person is to take care of the bus, and I'll take on that, no problem.
Do you hear that? We have a way to get there. So thank you.
I just don't know how you guys going to get back because it's only going to be one way.
No, and we just live in Tallahassee. I love our lives there.
Okay.
Okay, well, we are at the 3 o'clock hour. Thank you guys for coming on a Tuesday, on a Friday. Please tell your friends. Please go on our Facebook page, get the email from Melissa. Let's keep this going. It's working. We will see you next Friday, 6 o'clock.
Bye, you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.